problem. I ain't had shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Bron James in LA, you're on college. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Put the John on them jets cause you wildin'. But the bowl is a party on the island. Moment of silence. So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pops flipped. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof with my first whip. Split the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs in the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute just to front, nigga. Goddamn. Had to grow up quick, I made my own rules. Had my first child, got it jumping with music. Can't really hang with nobody who losing. I thought by now that you would go and get it, but I could hardly see niggas this distant. Know you get cropped if you not in the picture. And I made that zag and went got a bag. Shots to the Henny and OG prescriptions, put rebel shit on the map. Took a leap from where I started at. Started ballin' now, Chris Paul and Cats. Got them steady calling for the mold, but I'm on a roll, gotta call him back. And that's all fact.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. All aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas should now be clear. All electronic devices should now be turned off and stowed, as they may interfere with the aircraft's navigational and communication systems. Once airborne, we'll let you know when you may use approved electronic devices, but note that some items may not be used at any time during the flight. You'll find a list of approved devices in the in-flight information section.
All right. Welcome everybody. We here. We're done teaching for the night and decided to put some more time into this motherfucking donut. But yeah, we're gonna have to chill for a second. Get into the mode. Trying to see what's up here. I don't want to listen to. I want to listen to some. God, I can't think of his name. Oh yeah, I'll do some jazz. I could deal with all of this, but right now I'm feeling this. Oh, hang on. Oh, hearing that through my microphone. Oh man. Hang on. Oh, that's why the cord was over here. Yeah, see, now I hit the wrong damn button. What was that? What was that? Oh, I accidentally went into full screen? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I accidentally. All right. Cheers. The bass is so nice. Of course, we got the Yamaha piano. Always gonna sound phenomenal. We going old school. We got the rivets on the damn cymbals for extra sizzle. My saxophone is disgusting too. It's gorgeous. All right, let's see what they talking about with this donut, y'all. Let's see what they talking about with this donut. All right, so here's the thing, like where we left off, I realized I have to deal with a couple fundamental problems. One is I need to learn how to like lock things up and align things. Now I'm trying to remember how to do the pan thing. Thought it was like a shift alt thing. Uh-oh, gotta remember how to pan, y'all. Let's go to the Google machine. Hold shift and drag the middle. Oh, I was going to alt, it's shift. Got it. Okay. So, all right. So see how this is kind of turned about that axis, right? So that, therefore, when I extrude, it is fucking gnarly, right? So really, we want to grab this and then like rotate it so that it gets locked. But then again, I don't really know how to like, see right there, I think I locked it to the Y axis. You know, okay. So now, but I don't think that's quite what I want. See, I can lock it to the X. I can hit escape, hit rotate again, lock it in Z. Now I can only go that way. Escape to undo that. But I gotta kind of do like a, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of an essential skill. So like one of the things like that, yeah. So like one of the things I'm trying to do is like slow down a little bit, because that's why I decided to like go live tonight, because I want to keep making progress on going through the tutorial, but I also want to slow down and give myself some time to figure out some basics in Blender. Okay. So now what I'm wondering is there a way to get this to where I can redeem this, right? Because I think this is destructive, meaning now that it's been extruded out, you know, there's really no like going back. And so the thing we really would want to be able to do is just figure out how to get something to be straight. And I guess I have to think about what I want. What I really want for this is, I guess I kind of want it, I basically want it parallel to, the ground, horizontally from this angle. And then I think this is the x-axis. And then y is front to back and z is up and down. So that would be... that's weird. That would make me think this is the front and this is the back. Let me see. If I hold this and hit 7 for front. Yeah, see, this is the front. Okay. 9 is back. Oh, yeah, front to back. So negative y is front. Like the negative y is forward, and then positive y is back. That makes sense. I get it. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go back to front. Yeah, and we just kind of want to get good with some basic shit right now. See how, so this is lined up kind of, I kind of like the way this is lined up. And then the real issue was just that this was kind of gnarly in the way that I extruded it, because I know what the hell I'm doing. And now, if I continue to extrude from there, it'll keep twisting in a way that'll reflect whatever lack of alignment it has now, or at least that's what I'm thinking. And so then part of it even too might be to go into object mode even. See, I like it. I like the way it looks in edit mode. I think I can do it in edit mode. I think I can still... I want to grab the whole object. See, I don't think that's the whole object. That's just a bunch of faces or something. It's weird because it's 3-dimensional, so I got to figure out how that works. I'm sure there's a way to do it. But yeah, okay. So I guess I could go back in the object mode. I could get rid of the shade smooth again, like shade flat maybe. Yeah, okay. And then that'll help me a little bit with rotation. See, I don't want to do that. I kind of think I want to hit lock on Z for some reason. No, now I'm not in rotation anymore. Okay, then lock Z, and then I turn this way. Yeah, okay. Rotate Z. Okay, now we're rotating. Oh no, that starts to look... It looks like we're pretty lined up with the... there, like, let's go to the top perspective. Like, we've pretty much got the line running straight through the middle of the cup, I think. I'm not being totally blind here. Okay, and then like this is the thing. Like I'm just gonna straight up admit it right now that this is not my area of skill. I know, shocked. I know you're shocked. You can't tell. You thought I was fucking so good at this. But like I don't even have the eye. Like my eye is like, it's not right, but an ability to explain, like physically, it's like I could grab it and like get it to, but I can't explain it or be like, here's what needs to happen for it to extrude properly. Like I don't have that skill set. All right. So yeah, I can't even like see, I can't even figure out like what's the best way to even position this thing so I could even look at it the best for that. But see, when I do this, like this makes me think like it looks kind of all right. Like, you know what I mean? Like you look and it looks like you could see that that's the twist a little bit, where I would want it to be going straight across here and straight across here and, you know, like vertically aligned. So it feels like it needs to be twisted. I know I need to select the face and then like, you know what I mean? But I don't want to make it worse. Oh no, y'all. I don't think so. All right. So then the other thing I noticed is if I go, y'all are like, that's a shitty camera view, Jay. Let's say we go up in here. Oh, I don't have this screen share. That's weird. All right. I thought I shared it. No, maybe I didn't. All right. Here. Cool. So I think he technically was doing something cool, like when he was doing the control click extrusion thing. I think he was like selecting a very particular part of it to try, because I was trying to figure out how did he get it to extend and like stay straight when he did it. And yeah, I think he was selecting. I don't know. We're gonna see.
Handy way to do it. Okay, cool. So now the tricky bit. It's not really that tricky. It's relatively easy to solve, but it's a conundrum, right? Like, how do we make this mesh with the rest of the mesh?
All right, we want to go back.
And you do that by, like, the wrong way to do this would be to just like kind of like very handy, a bit more easier than doing this way. There is.
All right, so we want to go kind of in here. I think I might just watch this for a hot minute and then go back
make it
and try
a little bit thinner, because
that's what I mean. I just want to take a couple hours and like not be in a
fat
rush
as what we have there. So, all right, so face select mode now, and now I'm going to start to extrude. So another extrusion, G to reposition, R to rotate it, and I just want to rotate it so that it kind of follows the contours of this. So I'm going to be rotating.
All right. So what I notice is that he's like, if you notice, it's like, you know, he's got it lined up like somewhat like if I'm doing this, right? Because the whole idea was to have the cup behind it, and then you could like follow the contour of the cup. I know he's got the subdivision thing, this levels, the viewport levels I should have up to 2, and that gets the cup shape better, but it also gets the thing. And then if I were in object mode, he does have the shade smooth on. Okay. Now I know our cup shape's a little bit different, but all right. So this is like, you know, we're at least now in the same universe. Maybe I went ahead and created too much space because I was trying to get the cup to give us some space to get behind it. But anyway, it's like when he goes and, you know, has this face selected, but extrudes from kind of this perspective. And okay, I notice I don't have any breaks in there. So that could be part of it. I think that's like Control R. We get these, and then we tell it where we want it. And we had the one down here where it connects. And maybe another one on here. And we could maybe trying to see what these, still getting a feel for these. All right. And so when he, oh yeah, because he extruded, that's where he got that other one from. That's okay. All right. So, you know, now when we extrude from here, he's doing that. Then he's grabbing it and going like up with it. And then hitting R to rotate it in like the right direction. And I don't feel like the man for the job. All right. So, that's where I'm at right now.
Like this kind of angle as we go around. So now E to do another extrusion. Click, G, click, R. Now, by the way.
So again, it's like a E, click, G, click, R, click, E, click, G. No. I don't think I got it now. Okay, I've got to get above. There we go. All right, now let's look at that. Now see even that. See how that's got kind of almost like a mean curve in it. It's like, yo, he's, he got a little aroused and he got a mean curve in that thing. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, how do these people extrude in such a way as to not twist? Like, I almost want to be like Blender, how to extrude without twisting. Use axis constraints, E, then X, Y, or Z for straight aligned extrusions, or Alt E, extrude faces along normals to keep even, consistent thickness. Man, I got a lot to learn about this whole extruding things. So that's what I was trying to do, is think about, I thought it might have something to do with like the whole axis locking mechanism. But then I don't even know how to think about that, because it's sort of like, I guess I would want to lock. It's hard to even think about what I'd want to lock. I think I'd want to lock the Y-axis so it doesn't twist front to back. Okay, extrude back in. Can hit Y. Now it's constrained to go along the Y-axis. Okay. Hit escape. Let's hit E, then let's hit X. That makes us go that way. Okay, let's escape that. Let's hit E, then hit Z. I feel like go right, E, and then Z. Yeah, that's how we make sure straight up. Okay. And then that's the other thing too, is I don't necessarily want to go straight, because again, we've got to curve and make this handle. So interesting. I have so much respect for people who can do this shit. All right. Let's see what he says, because I was thinking maybe there's a clue in the way he's selecting.
Another way to extrude, which is actually kind of perfect for this. But if you hold down Control and then right click, it will not only extrude, but it will also rotate the faces so that they align. And it can be a little helpful, a bit more easier than doing this like E, G, R, S, G, R. Like, so just holding down Control and then right click will just place these little points.
So that's what we did. And it does work, obviously. And it was cool. Felt nifty. But the problem was the bend. Not really getting it to stay straight as we're even this, like, see there's a twist, and I could just tell that if we rotated this, now it's not as bad as it was last time, but I don't know, it doesn't quite feel right. And then, of course, it's like if I knew more about how to manipulate the frame, I could also like rotate parts and kind of fix it, but I can't really do that either. All right, so the thing I would do is kind of try to line up here and then again, just trace the shape of the handle. Trying not to overthink it. And then I think he clicked it and then we went from there. Now, in reality, I could live with that. Even though I'm obviously not crazy about it. Feels like I can, yeah, no, I mean, you can go in here, you know, and like grab faces and try to, you know, be corrective about it. I mean, that's definitely possible. You could, oh, sorry. We could maybe try to like get, I don't know, some kind of, alignment here and then like use that as a guide to try to like straighten it out, you know, kind of like twisting correctively. Like this guy would have to go like that a little bit. No, that's not good. And then I'd want to rotate this one. I mean, I think that in some sense is maybe the better solution at this stage of the game for me. To try to fix it as opposed to like trying to craft it perfectly to begin with and like trying to figure out how I can work on adjusting things. I don't really know, to be quite honest. I know I'm fucking this up. I'm just trying to get it to be a little bit more acceptable of a shape. I don't know what the right word is. I honestly don't want to get caught up in making it too perfect. One, because I know it'll just be a massive waste of time. Two, it'll set a bad example for students about being perfectionists about their first projects. It's really more just about learning the software and having a decent go of it so that we're not intimidated by the prospect of making 3D models going forward. That's the whole purpose of the project. It's just the purpose of all their projects is to give them some familiarity with these digital multimedia creation environments so that they're not intimidated, so that they know it's a thing they can figure out if and when they need to. But yeah, it'd be cool to figure out how to, just trying to even figure out how to look at it. Still not the best at all the positioning. Yeah, like I need to pan more when I need to. Yeah, actually the panning kind of clutch because you want to pan and rotate. All right, you know, I can live with it. Actually, I kind of wanted to get into some of these faces. But it's fine. You know, I was thinking like it would. You know, the first thing you model in 3D is gonna be like the first thing you model in hand, right? Like your first cup when you go to like, you know, the pottery studio or whatever. And like, yeah, your first cup's gonna look like dog shit. Like it's just it's that rookie life, you know? No, rookie, you're not good. You're a rookie. You suck. The fuck did you think this was? All right. Yeah, let's rock with it. I don't know. For some reason, today I can live with it, and I think I need to just go with the spirit of living with it, and keep rolling. Let's see where we get to.
And we'll rotate them so that you don't have to do all that rotation yourself. It really only works for these kind of appendages like this, but might as well use it because it's a very handy way to do it. Okay, cool. So now the tricky bit. It's not really that tricky. It's relatively easy to solve, but it's a conundrum, right? Like, how do we make this mesh with the rest of the mesh? And you do that by, like, the wrong way to do this would be to just like kind of like smush them together, right? And this is kind of like early 3D stuff. Like a lot of stuff was like this. They kind of mashed stuff and intersected it together. But then you don't get that edge there where it like catches the light. And the only way to really get that is to actually physically like join this mesh together. So this face here has to be connected to this face somehow. And the easiest way in this case to do is to, first of all, we can see that this line here is like cutting into the middle of this this cup here, right? So we really need to just add a line that goes around there to make this area here like one face to match this handle. So I'm going to add that line by hitting Control R, loop cut, click, and then I'm going to slide it up to be, you know, roughly about there. That's fine. And then now, and because I've intersected and that went too far. So I'm holding down Z. Now this is a way of quickly changing the mode that you're viewing something in. And we'll get to these other two once we get to materials, rendering and stuff. But for now, if you just swap to wireframe mode, this will show you through the mesh. There is another way to see through a mesh, and that is to, at the top there, that little X-ray or Alt-Z is a hotkey for it. But that's another way to do it. But yeah, you can see that's wireframe, and then, oh, hang on a second. Nope, that's X-ray. This is wireframe. But yeah, they're pretty similar. Anyways,
where the fuck is that at? Like, yo, the top of this thing is crazy looking. Global arrow drawn. Oh, is it over here? Yeah, mine is being hidden. Okay, wireframe. Yeah, my wireframe is fugly. So you can see it's smashed, although it's kind of okay. It's not too penetrating. It's like in there, which is kind of where we want it. All right, so then he's saying we do like I don't know, we select the face, we do the Control R jam. We say we want it here, and then we try to line it up. Yeah. Oh God. Oh God, it's terrible. It's terrible. Wait, hang on a second. That's not really where I wanted that. Can I get, oh, I guess I want to click over here. Maybe I'll get these faces easier. All right, let's get out of this wireframe mode, maybe. Uh-oh. Now what? There we go. Okay, yeah. All right, so then like about there's again, like they're oh, the alignment is so bad. Okay. Let me see if I should be able to like select faces and what am I trying to do here? There was a way I could like click the face and then try to twist it, like rotate it, but whatever. Who cares? I said I'd leave it, right? If I said I'd leave it, I should leave
my
it.
face here, and I'm just going to pull it out, just so that I can just grab it, basically. And now I can go back to my solid view as before. Okay, so I touched on this briefly before, but like a mesh is made up of these individual points, right? This is what you're seeing when you're in vertice mode, these individual points. And each of those points, when you have 4 together, 3 or more actually, you can create a face. And so that's what that is. So essentially, I need to create a new face for this section right here. So let's do that now. So I'm going to select those two, and I've just selected them by holding down Shift like this.
Oh, hang on, hold on. That's super cool. I don't even know if we can go back that far. We'll try. Who gives a shit, right? Actually, we should save this though, just in case. Let's save as increment. We'll go to 9. We'll save, and then we'll see if we can go back far enough to create this other way of doing the handle. I don't think so. I think I'm tapped out of undos. It's like that was kind of a waste. Yeah, it's like not going any further. I still don't understand that because I think I set the memory to be unlimited undos. All right, well then let's just punch back in all of our redos, I guess, so that we don't lose anything else.
F for face. Okay, and then I can do
have
the
to
same
remember
on this
that.
side.
That you can create a face.
Like that. And then I'm going to do the same on the top. And then I'm going to do the same underneath. Okay. All right, so I've done it. And I did it deliberately this way because I need to show you the reason for this issue here. So we've got we've got the faces, so they should be going smoothly across here. But because of the way meshes work and the way they try to, the way smooth shading works is, it does it based on like a continuous flow of faces. And you will have noticed that when we created this, there was actually a face that is inside here before we joined it, okay? And I'll show you if we go into here. This area here, you should see there is a face that is right here. So because that exists, the smooth shader doesn't actually know that it's supposed to continue on because there's a face that goes down. So it's now kind of mixed. It doesn't know, like it has to create a smooth shading here, but then also one on the top there. And so it's done this weird hybrid thing where it's like it's tried to do it, but there's clearly something going on underneath. So what we need to do is just delete that face. So again, in face select mode, you select that inner face there. And by the way, when you're working in 3D, this is a really common thing beginners do, is they select the wrong face. So you can see how quickly that, like, they're right next to each other, that point there, right? but selecting one or the other, it just happens all the time. So a thing that a lot of 3D artists do is when they've selected something, before they delete it, you just do a quick orbit around, and that'll just like break the perspective and just to verify that that is the actual one I mean to select. Okay. Then I'm going to hit X and I'm going to say faces. Okay. But it's not just that one, right? Like that. I'm actually that should be fixed soon, but anyway, I'll show you how. And then there's one on the inside here as well. Okay. Because when we joined it, there was a face here and there was a face over there.
I don't even
so
know
I'm
how
now
to
going
get
to
to
delete
the
that
faces
face
in here.
by hitting X and then say faces. Okay. Now,
Although I guess I
that's
kept
done.
extruding, so the face is here.
This should be correct. But the reason it's not is one, I think if I need to right click and say shade smooth, and that has fixed it. What can happen sometimes is when you've fixed up some geometry, you might need to recalculate the normals, like and again, to bring up the normals, there's a secret hidden line that every face on your object has, and they're always pointing outward like that. But when you've created new mesh and you've kind of fixed things or whatnot, you can end up with one of these lines that goes the wrong direction. And I'll show you that actually, if I just do this. That's what it might look like. You get this weird like black shading artifacts that's very ugly. So to fix that, you select your entire mesh and then you hit Shift N and that will recalculate it. And now you can see the smooth shading is correct. And just to show you quickly as well, the way I did it just then where we like created it and then we deleted the faces, don't do this. I'm just going to show you like actually what you would do, because it's not this tedious normally. If you had this problem, you would actually select this face and this face first. You delete them ahead of time. And then actually, and there's a faster way to have created this join here, you can select that entire edge loop with Alt, then Shift Alt, select that. And now I could right click and say bridge edge loops, which you only can do if you've got the exact same number of vertices on one side as the other. But I want to just show you physically creating those points with vertices, because that is a really common way to model, to join things together. You select the 4 vertices, you create a new face. Anyways, look at that. We've got what looks like a handle coming out of the mug. Now, if we look at our reference here, we've got it pretty close, but you can see that there's like, it's sharp, right? There's clearly like a crease here and a crease here. And we can do that just by adding in more loop cuts. So I'm going to add in, well, I guess there's 2 ways to do it. One, I can actually just select this edge here. So holding down Alt, just select that and then double tap G and I can bring that in.
Actually, I wanted
when
that
I do
damn
that,
face
this
selected.
area becomes a little bit straight. Maybe not what I wanted. Let's have a look at front mode. Yeah, I might want a little bit more detail there, in which case I would add a loop cut. But, you know, it's really up to you. You might be able to just, you know, move this around and just kind of shape it. Like, look, we're learning Blender. That's really the goal of this. It's not necessarily to make a physically accurate mug. I don't want to overcomplicate things and make things feel like you have to do everything perfectly, but I also don't want to end up with like a trash result and then everyone be like, "Oh, we did all that effort."
Oh, my result is going to be
but
trash.
you know, you could spend a lot of effort. You know, you could even try and get like, if you look at, you know, there would be probably like a little line here, like the kind of, you know what I mean, like on the inner part of the thing. You could try and create that. You could really add a lot of detail. The only thing I'm really going to fix is right here where it's pinching. I'm just going to select that edge there and I'm going to double tap G and I'm just going to slide it up. So there's just a little less pinching. And then this part here, like you can see the shape of this face is being very distorted, right? You generally want to keep things as close to a squarish shape as possible, generally. And so I'm just going to select this edge at the bottom there, double tap G, and I'm just going to pull it out just to relieve a little bit of the tension there. And I mean, you can, yeah, there's like a tighter line there, but this will do. This is enough to be perceived as a coffee mug. Now, if you want to just move ahead with the tutorial and get on to the next part, which is going to be on materials and lighting, you can do that. However, if you want a little bit of a challenge, like a little bit of a homework, where you can try to use some skills, but by yourself, you will see, looking at the photo here, that we also have a saucer, a little tiny plate for our mug. Now, I didn't include that in my final image. I just had the coffee mug just sitting on the table. But this is a great very small thing that you could try to model by yourself using the skills that you've just learned
I'm
to
definitely not
create
going for the
something new.
extra
So
saucer right
how
now.
would you go about adding that saucer? You could
It'd
have
be a
have
shape
try at
like
it.
a
It's a
disc.
completely separate
You'd
object,
add a
obviously, to your
disc
mug
and
here.
then
So
add
even if you
thickness
screw it
to
up,
it.
worst case scenario is you just delete it, and then you'll still end up with something that I actually had for my final result, which was a mug without a saucer. But if you want to add that in, it'll be a way to kind of take some of the lessons
I
that
did think about the saucer,
you've
but I
picked
think
up
I'm gonna.
already,
I know
and
I'm
then
gonna end
try
up
to remember
remaking
them
this,
and the different steps and
and
things
maybe the next time I make it, I'll
required to
do the
create it. Because
saucer.
whilst you've just created something now, it's the best time to try to recall that memory so that in the future, maybe in a few days or a few weeks from now, when you try to do something yourself, it'll be a lot more readily available to recall that information. So if you want to have a go at doing that, feel free to. Otherwise, join me in the next part. Welcome
I
back.
had that,
In
and then
this
I
part,
rotated
we
it
are going to
too
be making the
far.
icing. Yes, the exciting icing for our donut. But first, we do have quite a lot of objects going on in our scene. We've got a camera, lamp, we've got an object, an image and stuff.
Right,
We
let's,
should try to organize some things. And some of you might have noticed in the top right-hand corner, you've got a list of all of your objects, right? This is called your outliner. And it is like a spreadsheet version of all the objects that are in your scene. And we're going to use it later on to like organize, like create collections. So it's like easier to see and organize things. But the first thing we need to do is just add names to things that make sense. So for example, our mug here is currently called Cylinder. So if we had a big scene with lots of objects going on, we can't find it. So it's a good habit to name your objects. So there's a number of different ways you could name something. One is you can just double click it in the outliner, right? You can see now I can type in a name like mug. You can also, in your 3D viewport, you can hit F2, which is the same hotkey in like Windows, I don't know, maybe Mac, but for renaming. And then I can just type in a name like donut. And you can also do that in the outliner as well. You can just hit F2 and that'll also do the renaming. So there we go. So now we've got names that actually make sense. I don't actually need the image anymore, even though I just renamed it. So I'm just going to delete that. All right, so we've now just got a camera, we've got a donut, a light, and a mug. Great. So let's make that icing. I'm going to move my mug out of the way. So G and then X, and I'm just going to throw it to the side so we don't see it anymore. And let's focus on our donut. So we want to make some icing. And when it comes to something as challenging as icing.
All right, let's see if we want to. Let's see if we want to work on this mug. Let me see. I know. I think the menu keeps going over. Yeah. Oh, it scrolls. I like that actually. I just gotta get used to it. I want to say save as. Let's increment 10.blend. I don't know. I should put something in here, like resume or something. Okay. Let's save. All right. Now I should go back to like one of the recent ones. No, I think that's probably nothing I can do with this one. I thought about going way back to I think even like 3 maybe. Yeah. And then I was thinking about trying to get the extrusion better from the beginning. All right. So I need to remember the timestamp, which is exactly 1 hour, technically 1 hour and 55 seconds. So it's just the next section. So we got kind of lucky in the sense that, yeah, I'm kind of making this decision now before we go to the next section. All right. So let me go back and try to see where we were. Like, do we have, yeah, we've got that thing on. Like, where were we at when we... I don't know how far back I go, so it's probably not a great idea, but, because I don't know what... Oh, I feel like we're did the walls thing. I've got my subdivisions on. I don't have the viewport levels. There's kind of like the smooth mug shape. Yeah, and that's kind of where I wanted to go. Was kind of around here.
R, and then again, single click to confirm I want it on that row of faces. And then I'm just sliding it along until it's
so I have these
roughly
two placed
about there at the bottom of my mug. Okay.
No, I don't know how to
then
select those.
You can see it's like this whole area here, this face here. It's become like it's turned it into a star. And not to get too complicated, but basically a subsurf modifier, it has to know what to do. And generally, if there's like faces that are made up of 4 vertices, this is getting complicated, I can tell, that is made.
Yeah, so we
Or we
did
can have
that
my
thing.
a loop around it. Just, I mean, it's
We
underneath
put
the
the
coffee mug.
inset
It doesn't really matter
underneath.
that much.
And I want to know how to
yeah,
do the modify the
something
loop
like that.
cuts.
And there we go. So you can see this looks a lot nicer. And again, because we are in a non-destructive workflow, I've still got my solidify modifier at the top here, right? I could change the thickness of this. I can make this a really chunky looking coffee mug or a really thin one. And that is the benefit of a non-destructive workflow. And then I can also change how high res do I want my coffee mug to look. And this is the way to work in 3D. This is the best way to do it because, if a client wants you to change something or whatnot, keeping in a flexible workflow is definitely a good place to be. Okay, so we have created the start of a coffee mug, and we have also created a donut. Good time to save. Good time to save. So File, Save As, or Shift Control S, and then Save As. So the way I like to save things, and you might want to copy this, is to, you come up with a name, underscore, whatever, and then you put a number after it. And then you can actually see I've already saved my file. I don't want to.
So now one of the things I remember from this part is that I don't have things lined up the way we wanted them. All right, so we grab it, and then we lock the x-axis. No, we should say grab it, lock the y-axis, and then move it along the y-axis. Okay, then we do this, same thing. Grab it, lock it along the y-axis. All right, now we want to try to line it up in the center of the x-axis. God, I still need to figure out how to move better. Now, one thing I can tell you already is, okay, so this is sort of the thing about where the extrusion's going to get weird. All right, I want to see what it's looks like.
My existing save.
All right, so we did all the save stuff.
Learn very quickly in 3D is that when you model something from imagination, it almost always comes out.
Oh, so yeah, so we didn't even have the reference in yet. Okay, so we know we're past all that.
Get what labor costs, they're right next to each other. That point there is I want to scale. Basically, whenever there is a join, and you can see there's like a nice bevel edge there kind of thing, it has to physically be part of the geometry of this. You can't just have it like existing out in space because then it won't appear a little bit thicker. So I'm going to hit scroll in to zoom, shift middle mouse to pan to the side. And now I'm going to move this over here and I'm going to scale this down again.
Yeah, okay, because I'm at the point where our cup was still like a cylinder and we hadn't yet put put the shape to it.
To get it roughly to be the size of my mug here. Because I know that this mug is right relative to the donut, so it should be good. And then what I'm looking at for the size of this image here is I want the top of this rim here to roughly match the bottom down there.
Okay, the other thing that's interesting is it looks like he has it almost looks like his cup is laying flat. Which honestly, I'm trying to think of like, right, I'm just noticing this now. Like, it's almost like he's got his, let me see, like I would go grab the object, I'd rotate it, and now I would say lock the x-axis. Yeah. It almost looks like his picture is like this. Right? Like he's got the x-axis behind the cup. I don't know, am I tripping?
So this, like, I want that to match that. So it's still a little bit too big. And you'll notice I can't really easily do it from this angle. I mean, I can, but the problem is that this photograph is taken with a camera from the real world where there is perspective. But we are looking in 3D, and actually when we're in an axis like this, the reason it all becomes flattened is because it is in perspective mode. If you click that little button there, that'll actually put you back into perspective mode, and you can see how things get distorted and like angles and things. So the best reference is actually reference, which is...
No. He has it the other way. Okay. Now I can see it's behind it, standing up like we had it. Okay. So I would like to be able to undo the rotation of the cup. There we go. Okay. Okay. Also, I think is a little bit like this, maybe. More about cup going through the origin. I'm not sure what difference any of this is going to make, but it's just kind of things I'm noticing and trying to get comfortable with.
In orthographic, like blueprints for something, but you usually don't have that, so you just go from something like this and just kind of best guess it. Anyways, okay, cool. So that's
Again, I'm staying very low pressure today.
The right size of image. Now we can model by going into edit mode by hitting tab, toggle in and out of edit mode, and we can start to shape this to look like this mug here. So the first thing you will notice is like the general broad shape of the mug is that it actually kind of tapers towards the top. Both lines are kind of tapered upwards. And then there's a kind of a midpoint around about here where it starts to invert and it goes in the other direction. Okay, so it's a very smooth object and perfect for using Subsurf Modifier, which is what we've already got. So to get that taper going up to the side, I want to shrink the top of the mug here just a little bit. So I'm going to hold down Alt and I'm going to go into Edge Select mode at the top there, and then Alt and then just left click on that line there. Not on like a middle point like here, it'll select a different edge, but just on the middle there.
The Alt left
and then
click.
Now I want to scale this in to just shrink the size just a little bit. So I'm going to scale that to there, and then I'm going to select.
All right, and then it's a scale. Sorry, didn't do that right. Should be able to slide that now. Okay, now I'm like starting to see this a little bit. So you let that go. Hang on. Yeah, idea is that if you put that up, I think maybe I didn't scale it in enough. Let me scale it in a bit more. Uh-oh. That's no good. All right. Let's undo a bunch of stuff. Let's Alt, then scale that in. All right, everything else still cup shaped. All right, then we want to Alt select that. And then I hit it with the slide. Yeah, okay, so now I can see drastically where it goes in. And then this is like where the taper starts. So you want to be like, oh, it starts tapering, whatever. And then, BC, why y'all laughing at me? This shit is difficult. All right, now I think I want to scale that out a little bit more. Yeah, so it's not so drastic. And just hit it with more of like a slight taper in. Okay, yeah. And then if I do my viewport levels, yeah, it just starts to have a little bit of that taper to it. Okay. See, that's what I was really trying to get, is to the point where I could see the cut and then figure out that the cut is where it's then going to taper from there till the next cut. And so you can use that to then control the shape. But I don't want mine to like dive in too severe. Okay? So
the line underneath it, and I'm going to do the same thing. So Alt, click on that line, that edge, and then just scale it, about halfway there. Now I want to create this like widened point right here. And you can see like from here, like there's a lip at the bottom, but like from here to here, and then it goes up, I'd say probably 20% up the mug. That's where that middle point is. So this line is close, but I'd probably pull it up a little bit. So I'm going to double tap G, and that'll let me slide that edge there. And I'll put it to, yeah, it's about there. And now I want to pull it out to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to hit S and just pull that out to about there. And now I can see this line here is not quite right. So I'm going to scale this one out as well, just a little bit. Okay, that's roughly the right shape. Okay, now this bit at the bottom here. Okay, so I can see already that I need a little bit more detail.
Yeah,
so I'm actually going to have to
All
slide
right.
this line up here. So I'm going to hit double G to just kind of slide it up, and I'm going to pull it to about there. You can see now we've got kind of a more curved taper on that edge there, and I'm going to hit S to scale. I'm going to double tap G again. And I'm just by eye, just get.
All right. I'm gonna hit Alt. Double tap G to scale. Okay, if I push it up. Oh, I see what I want to do. I think what I want to do is go here. Then I think I want to pull this one down. And then scale it out. Whoa. Not that far. Yeah, kind of like that. I'm not trying to go for exactly the same shape. I'll scale that one out a little bit. Yeah, now we're getting more of that bold shape. I think maybe a little less there. Yeah. See, even though I knew I'd go back, but I think even though we went back, it's like we're getting a little bit better command over some of these basic things. Although I'd say I'm still, this getting ready for this whole handle thing is still intimidating the shit out of me.
To try to get this form here. But you can see you can very quickly start to shape any sort of object you want by just moving, sliding lines around and scaling things. Okay, so now obviously this face at the bottom here, so if I go into face select mode or by just hitting 3, this has to be this little lip at the bottom there. What do you call that? I guess like a lip? There's probably a word for it. All the pottery people watching this tutorial are going to tell me what it is. And they'll also tell me about the price of manual labor and why that coffee mug was quite well priced, I'm sure. Anyways, I'm going to, I'll scale it in a little bit. I'm just trying to guess, like, where would it start? But, you just do it by eye. I think about there. Okay, and now with this face here selected, I need more geometry because I want to actually pull it out from that face there. But I can't just like pull it down, right? Because now it's stretching it. I need more geometry. And so that is called an extrusion. And thankfully, the hotkey for extrusion is just the first letter of its name, which is E.
See, I just did the little extrusion.
And just
there.
like inset and everything else in Blender, the moment you tap it, you're now in that mode. I can pull it upwards. I could pull it downwards. Obviously, downwards is what we want. So I'm going to do a single click right there. Okay. And then now, if I go back and just look at it in object mode, and by the way, if you want to see it like the donut, you want to make it look smooth, you can as well by going to Shade Smooth. And that's okay, but you can see that this line here, this is a much tighter line, okay? And the reason that this is happening is, of course, because of Subsurf Modifier and the way that it works. It's essentially going from here to here and then kind of like, I guess like a midpoint in the middle there. And it's trying to taper from there all the way in. But then also from this point here, it now has to taper from there to kind of smooth out that line. So we end up with just kind of like this like very smoothed out little nub. But to fix it, we just have to add in more geometry so that it doesn't start the smooth so much further up. So to do that, we need another loop cut, which you might remember the hotkey, or you can find it in the menu, Edge, Loop Cut, and Slide, but it is Control R. So Control R, when you're in this mode, where do you want to put it first? So do a single click on this face here. So click, and then it's now saying where do you want to slide it to. So I'm going to slide one to the bottom, like so, and then I need another one right above it. So I did a click there to confirm it. So I'm going to hit Control R, and now I'm placing it on the exact same place, and I'm just going to pull it up. And there we go. And now you can see it's much tighter at the bottom there, and it looks good. And if you really wanted to clean up this bottom base there, you can see we kind of got that like starfishy pattern happening. You could do the same thing we did before, which is select that face there and then do an inset. It's not really that essential. No one's really going to notice it, but you might, and maybe you want to clean it up. So yeah, but that's pretty good. That's great. That's a good start to the mug. It looks good. Awesome. Well done. Now it's time for the challenge of making this handle. So you can see it starts about here.
All right, let's wait a second. Let's just take a look. Do the smooth shade. And yeah, we've got a decent looking cup there, right? All right, so now let's do a save as. We'll call it EC Donut, and we'll call it version 2. 1. Save as. Then we'll do another save as. Increment. All right. So now we gotta, and matter of fact, let's do one more. Let's do something, and we're gonna call it save as handle. Okay, that way we kind of have a safe place to go back to before we start fucking with the handle.
And then obviously extrudes around and goes back into itself and is joined here. So how do we do this? So basically, whenever there is a join, and you can see there's like, like a nice like bevel edge there kind of thing, it has to physically be part of the geometry of this. You can't just have it like existing out in space, because then it won't appear to be joined together. So essentially, we have to find somewhere on this mesh to start the handle from. And that point is actually here, right here, which is why I've modeled it this way. Right here is where I'm going to extrude out. Now, before I show you how to extrude, I first of all want to show you, I'm going to do something and it's going to mess it up. And I'm going to then show you why we need to do something else first before we start extruding. So if I was to extrude this out, we could do the whole handle here, get it back there, make it look perfect. And then later on, look at our mug and go, oh no, what is going on? The reason this happens is because of, you might remember, the solidify modifier.
Yeah, so this is where
these modifiers, they're not part of the mesh, right? It's happening.
So this is where our model's about to become no longer non-destructive. So that's why it was important that we saved there, because we're about to go into destructive editing mode, and then that's why we couldn't, undo the handle
after the fact. So it's adding a thickness to any mesh that we have here. And it's now adding a thickness to the actual handle itself. So how do we fix that? We fix that by making this go from a modifier to real, like actually bake it into the mesh so that it's actually real geometry. And the way you do that is, first of all, let me just undo all of those, Control Z, of course. The way you do it is by going to the modifier, and then in the little drop down in the top there, right next to that little camera icon, there is an apply. So when you click that, it's disappeared. And now when you go into edit mode though, you can see when you click that in the top there, right next to that little camera icon, there is an apply.
On the solidify.
So when you click that, it's disappeared. And now when you go into edit mode though, you can see all that geometry that wasn't there before is now actually part of it. And you can see it if you turn off the subsurf modifier. So I can now make changes to the inner part of my model there without it affecting the rest of it. So it's actual real mesh that we can manipulate. Obviously, the downside is it's no longer non-destructive. So that slider that we had,
all right, so now we've saved.
Mug, we no longer have the slider. It would just mean if we wanted to change the thickness of the mug, we would have to like do it ourselves, like selecting all that stuff and doing it. But that's fine. You have to break the workflow eventually to add in customization. But there you go. So, anyways, now that I've got this, now when I select this face here, I can start to do the extrusion. So, importantly, make sure you're selecting the right face. If you were to select this one by mistake and then start trying to do your handle and then like twist it around, it would start to get screwed up very, very quickly. So make sure that you've got this red line that's like intersecting your mug there, that it is, yeah, like it's that one. It's like bang on to the middle. And you can actually check if you go into top view mode, it should be directly in the middle of the mug there. Okay, so with that selected, I'm going to go into front view mode with numpad 1, or hitting that little green thing. And then I'm going to hit, again, the hotkey that we use for extrusion is E to extrude out. Now, when you do that, it's using the normals, the hidden, it's like the hidden direction of each of the faces that are on your E. I'm going to go into front view mode with numpad 1, or hitting that little green thing. And then I'm going to hit, again, the hotkey that we use for extrusion is E to extrude out.
Now notice he kept it on that axis.
Using the normals, the hidden, it's like the hidden direction of each of the faces that are on your mesh, okay? So it's kind of extruding it out like that.
Okay, so let's see if we can now get a decent extrusion. So we saved right before we did this, so that was good. I kind of want to move this and think about my rotation, but, like, I don't know, we're pretty good. Let me see if there's a hotkey. There should be something for Blender, like lock center object on axes, basically. Selector object, Blender Stack Exchange. All right, this is actually what we need. Like, we need to start getting used to the community resources that people use to solve problems in Blender. Like, anytime you learn a new software, you gotta figure out where the community goes to solve problems. Select your object, not edit mode. Press Control Shift Alt C. Origin to geometry. Select your object and go in edit mode. Press A maybe twice to select your whole mesh. Oh, I needed that one. G to grab your selection and move it to your origin. If you only want to move it straight down, press Z to stick the movement to the... Oh, the origin of an object is this small orange dot. That is by default also the pivot point if you rotate it, for example. Just try it out yourself. If you move an object in edit mode, the origin stays at the same place and does not move with it. Oh, that's probably maybe part of my issue before. If you move an object in object mode, the origin moves with it. That is what you want most of the time. Then we want to be in object mode and do Control Shift Alt C and then origin to geometry. But see, I don't know. How to center the axis. Oh, that's how to center the axis on your objects. You don't know if I'm going to do that. Oh yeah, it does say set its origin to geometry. Then reset its location, Alt G. That's the world origin. Yeah, I don't want to move it to 0, 0. So I don't want to be in edit mode. I want to be in object mode. Oh, that got it right at the origin. Oh, and then I could move it and now keep it locked. So that was one way to go about it. Okay, so now, for instance, I can grab it and keep it locked to the y-axis. No, that keeps it along the y-axis. So let's escape that. Grab it and say X. Okay, and so now we know it's centered on the x-axis. Because we got it right in the origin, and then we did that. And so you can see there's a little bit of perspective there. And again, I'm just trying to, I don't know why I still haven't figured out all the rotational stuff. All right, but then let's go to that top view. Yeah, and you can see we're like right through the middle of it. Okay, that kind of worked out. All right, so again, doesn't solve our problem. Let's go to save as. I want to go to handle.2 and save that. And then I want to go to save as and go back to 3. is actually not what I wanted to do, Jay. You're a fucking idiot, because now I just overwrote 2 with the you know what, it's before the extrusion, so it's okay. All right, so let's now go to back in edit mode. Okay, and now we can try the extrusion. Let's lock into front and hit extrusion. It does look like it's extruding along the normal. I don't know why I'm in such a weird place. I'm just gonna escape that because all that feels very wrong. Okay. All right, we're back in front view. Panning around. Zooming in. Yeah, going through Blender. What up, Wayne? What up? All right, so now we want to extrude. Again, I don't know why all of a sudden my cursor's getting so weird. Yeah, okay, see. We got really weird thing going on here. All right. I think we might have ended up with a preliminary extrusion. Yeah, it's going the wrong way. All right. And as you can see, this is not going well. Something very weird is happening. It's like splitting. Like it's like there's multiple extrusions there or something. Where's the? Oh, I'm still in object mode. All right, now okay. I just want to see what's going on here as to why it extrudes in the opposite direction. I'm wondering, like, did I it feels like I did something wrong. Like somehow I am fucking this all the way up. Okay. In some sense, that actually came out. Nope. You can see the twist. You can see the twist. I'm wondering how much you can just grab the face here and get some twisty going. Grab here. So you can kind of get this stuff. You can kind of fix these things. But all right, that was kind of crazy and outlandish. I don't like that either. Oh, that's definitely not right. Then maybe we need that little, actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's extrude. See, I don't know why that feels like it's going the wrong direction. That is just, I don't know. It feels like somehow I flipped an axis or something. And then, he did make the cut before to like get this like where it joins. Okay, then it was back to this face. Okay, this should be. You kind of want to go out with it to get it to curve. Yeah, that's too much. Also too much. What I wonder is like, why is it so hard to make it tight? Grab Z, like, yeah, right? So that we have it at least going towards, no, sorry, escape, undo that, escape. So now, should be easier to get it bending in the right direction. Oh God, that is so astronomically worse than the last one. That would not be an improvement at all. Oh, I'm extruding the wrong face now. I don't know what normals it's using. I almost wanted to do this. And just like bring it like from straight out to like straight into the thing. And then like the real only problem I have with that then is this. And I think that's just like a face thing. But that was like a real temptation. See, now I'm nervous because Wayne Wayne can figure this shit out. Because that motherfucker could make art and I can't. All right. I also wouldn't mind it ending up with like a crazy handle if it wasn't just so whacked out. See how crazy we can get it to be. No, I kind of want you to extrude along the x-axis. Yo, I kind of just got a crazy idea. Like, what if the mug just had a handle? It's just weird. Like we're just like fuck it. I don't even want to. I'm not even folding it over. Or like to some extent, I don't even want to put a handle on it. What if it was? I was thinking about making it like a pipe. I don't know how to make it hollow. Like if I could make it hollow and then just make it like a fucking like a pipe and like make it look like a bro, that would almost be like the way he was doing it before, where if you just extrude it from the thing, but then that would actually, it would not look like a functional mug. Oh, is that what happened? Is that why my extrusion looked so crazy? Let's see what that's about. Okay. Oh, look, it's like extruding in both directions. Something is fucking off. Something is not okay about the way I have this modeled. Yeah, I don't know what it could be. But it absolutely doesn't extrude properly. Let me see what this one does. Interestingly, that felt normal. But now the one I actually need is acting crazy. Well, no, that time it didn't act too bad. Although that looks cool, right? Like it's got that pipe shape to it. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know if it's the stoner in me. The stoner in me was like, what if we made the mug look like a pipe, dude? And like, if we just like extruded it along the x-axis, you know what I mean, bro? And then our coffee mug kind of looks like a pipe, you know what I'm saying? You know, wouldn't it be cool? It's like kind of like a heady mug, you know what I mean? Oh no, oh no. Oh no, we fucked up the origin again. Oh no, we fucked up the origin again. How the And then the fucked up shit is like moving the origin doesn't get undone. All right, is it at least extruding properly now? I think so. All right, so let's try this. Let's try to get the correct face. That's this one. Let's extrude. Let's actually extrude along the x-axis though, so that it does go straight out. All right, now at least we should be starting from straight out. Let's see if that helped any. Nope, not really. I think it helped with like the first one, maybe. Okay, I see something that may have helped. So what may have helped is to now take this and to rotate it so that we can see the alignment of the extrusion we just made. But honestly, I think I just have to accept the fact that it's gonna look like dog shit no matter what I do. Oh my goodness, look how bad that looks. Or maybe I need to shape as I go. Like say, okay, yeah, like that piece is fucked up. So let's grab it and all right. get it going in the right direction. Then we grab it and we rotate it around. Still just looks fucking terrible. All right, let me think. I'm gonna say don't save and go from here. Cause yeah, I don't know. I just decided to say fuck it. All right, let's go pick up here and see what we're doing.
I'm going to move my mug out of the way. So G and then X. I'm just going to throw it to the side so we don't see it anymore. And let's focus.
All right, G, X.
Peace out. So we want to make some icing. And when it comes to something as challenging as icing, and really anything.
I see you don't yet have a handle on this.
All right, PC. In 3D.
All right, PC.
And every single method has PC. A pro and a con. So for example, there is a fluid simulator in Blender. It's not very good, but it exists, and it is a way you could create icing. You could actually like create an object and then simulate it falling and splatting over it. The reason we're not going to do that though is that one, it's incredibly complicated. There's so many things that can go wrong with the simulation. Blender Simulator is not very good. And then also you don't have any control over the final result. You have to keep rebaking things. It's horrible.
Oh, it's procedural.
But there's another way, and that is to just do it by hand. And at first that seems slower, but you have much more control over it. And it's actually pretty easy to do. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And it's also a great way to introduce some more tools.
All right,
and things.
We're going to, this is going to get rough. So we need to do a few things. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to save as, and we're going to go from resume. We'll just overwrite that for now. Then we're going to go to save as, and we're going to say icing, an increment. So now it says 11 and icing, and we'll save that. And then we'll do another one. Don't even know why. We'll do that. And then we'll do a quick, actually should take a break, right? Like that's actually, should model good habits of taking a few minutes of a break just to reset the old battery and mental processes, all that good stuff. We'll just go to our Palm of Focus, Pomodoro timer we typically use for work, and we put in our virtual offices, our virtual classrooms for our students. And we set a 5-minute break. Okay. Then we let the nice black gentleman play his saxophone. Cheers. I don't know. I should have a scene for this. I don't. Oh, let's just hot swap the screens. Stay hydrated, y'all. Exactly. But also, you like want to reset your brain. You don't want to get so like locked in. Leads to bad decisions. Like that whole hour I just spent trying to fix a handle I'd already decided I wasn't going to try to fix. See, like that's the type of thing you normally take a 5-minute break and you're just like, fuck that. But it's all right. I got to play around again with some of the tools and kind of figure out what they're doing a little bit more. I still haven't mastered extrusion, but again, it's something I'll figure out better over time. And I already know part of what I want to do is create this now, knowing it's going to be dog shit. And then hopefully the next time I teach this class, I'll find time to remake it. And hopefully I've made other things in Blender between now and then. And so I'll hopefully be a little bit better. And if not, like if I haven't touched Blender between now and then it'll force me to relearn the basics. It'll be a good idea at that time either way, basically. And so, yeah, you know, we don't have to be perfect. And again, I try to tell my students all that, like, you know, I just want you to try it and not be intimidated. So if I like spend 19 hours fixing like the most minor details, I'm not really setting a good example for them. Although setting the example of like, hey, don't worry if you just want to like chill at a stage and fuck around with the tools and figure out how the software works better, that's also always a good use of your time, because at the end of the day, we're trying to learn the tool. But yeah, I clearly need to work on my extrusion. And part of it is that I'm not totally great with navigation. They're not unrelated challenges. So like as I go and do different things and get better at navigating, better at locking things and positioning things, and then translate that back to extruding, it'll help. This is so good though. Oh my god, I could sit here and watch this all night. And honestly, it's always it's a fantastic lesson in mixing. It's a fantastic sound design. It's a fantastic lesson in like sound design and production. Because what production do you hear right now? What mixer is this? What console did they mix this on? Do you feel the analog vibe? What type of EQ did they use for this? What type of compression is this? Now I know you're sitting there like, why am I asking you questions I know you don't have the answer to? The point I'm trying to make is we're always trying to, I was telling my students this too, like, you put a good microphone in front of a good musician playing a good instrument, tuned well. That's it. You don't, I mean, the goal is like the perfect mix, like you don't have to do anything. And so like you really, into something like this, like it's very stripped away. There's no production, there's no special effects, like nobody's doing anything crazy. You just have really good musicians playing really nice instruments that are tuned really well in a really nice venue. Put a microphone in front of them, make sure you can hear everybody, call it a fucking day. Now, you can't always do that. It's not always that simple. But this is the reminder that when all of those things are in place, it just comes together magically and people just hear the beautiful music. Listen, that bass sounds awesome. Now, somebody's doing something to it, probably is getting kissed with a little compression, maybe a little reverb. No reverb, probably no reverb on that, but compression and EQ, I'm sure. But we can't hear it, it's not obvious. and fuck around with me, you might come back there. And I'm like, yeah, actually, yeah, man, I didn't even bother. I didn't, yeah, no, it's flag. Yeah, I didn't even touch the EQ. Yeah. Yeah, it was just one of them days. I just pushed the faders up and grabbed my coffee. Pretended to be busy. All right, let's go ahead and get back into frosting this donut.
Familiar with different areas of Blender. So icing follows the shape of the thing that it's on.
It
so
does.
Really, icing is basically the shape that we've got. It's basically half of this donut. So if we got half the donut, we're halfway there. Then we just need to add some variation to it to make it look like icing. So what I'm going to do is duplicate my donut. So Shift D, that is how you duplicate.
Okay.
You can also just go Object. And
Look, y'all, we got another donut.
And when you do this, you are in the duplicated state, and it's saying now where do you want to place that thing. And we don't want to place it anywhere. We want to leave it exactly where it was. And so I'm going to hit Escape. Now, when you do that, it hasn't canceled the duplication, because you can see at the top there, we've now got donut and then donut 0.001. So there is two objects still there. They're just exactly in the exact same spot, fighting for space. Something you actually never want to have is two objects sharing the exact same space, because then when a camera moves or something happens in an animation, you see like flickering. Really, really bad. Anyways, I'm going to double click that. And I'm going to call it icing, just so that I can quickly tell the two apart. And I want to delete the bottom half of my donut. So I'm going to go into front view mode like that. And I need to go into...
All right, I don't know. I'm feeling a compulsive need to save. So we're going to save as, increment, save. Okay, then we're going to... What view? What are we doing? What's the huh?
So I'm going to go into front view mode.
Front view mode. Okay. And hit it with the little pan so we can get kind of a little bit more centered here. All right. Maybe in a little bit.
Like that. And I need to go into edit mode next. And I want to select the bottom half of my donut. This is face select. Currently, let's go vertice select. Okay. And if I was to click and then just drag over the bottom half of my donut, it would appear as though as we have got half the donut. However, and this is an area of Blender that is not clear until you run into problems, but if I was to change my orbit, you can see it hasn't actually selected half the donut. It's only selected what it could see from that view.
Yeah.
So you have to turn on toggle X-ray first or go into wireframe mode. Yeah, you have to turn that on first, then wireframe mode. So you have to turn on toggle X-ray first or go into wireframe mode.
I don't know what the toggle X-ray thing is. Okay, and then do that? And am I supposed to get the, yeah, I guess he has the in-between one selected.
Yeah, you have to turn that on first, then do your selection, and now it will actually select all the way through an object to the other side as well. By the way, if you find that you can't
that was
do
an issue I was having
this
before.
drag selection that I've got, if you've got instead a circle over your cursor, like what I have here, what that means is you have tapped the W key by mistake, which will cycle through in the top little side of your screen there, different selection modes.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
The all the way through and turn that on first, then do your selection, and now it will actually select all the way through an object to the other side as well. By the way, if you find that you can't do this drag selection that I've got, if you've got instead a circle over your cursor, like what I have here, what that means is you have tapped the W key by mistake, which will cycle through in the top little side of your screen there, different selection modes. I wish it was not W. That's one of my complaints I've made to the Blender team. W is so close to the other keys you need on your keyboard. So many people hit this, they hit the wrong key, and then they're in this thing, and then like nothing works. So like yeah, you want to be in this mode most of the time. But yeah, you can change to these other modes if you wanted to, do a special selection or something as well. But anyways, that is how to fix that. And also just to call it out as well, we're going to be doing some like stuff with this icing that's going to maybe mess some things up and you might run into some issues. I got to call it out again. I've got an Unstuck Yourself guide, troubleshooting guide for just this tutorial. It is free. Just click the link below and it'll take you there. Because I want you guys to be able to get through this tutorial, but there's so many little things that you could experience in this. So we're going to add it to that guide to try and help you. And if you can't find the answer to your problem in there, hit up the Discord. The link for that is also in it. So I'll link to my website and all the links will be there. So check that out if you run into issues. All right, so I've got the bottom half of my donut. We have to delete it. So I'm going to hit X. When you do this, it's saying which part of it you want to delete. Now, this is one of those cases where it actually matters like which one of these you select. Because if you were to select vertices, because it would appear as though that's what you need to delete. But if you did that, you'll notice you've got now less than half. Because along with the vertices selected is that final line that is cut through the middle there. So I don't want to delete that final line. I want to delete the other stuff. So in my options here, I've got an option for faces, which, if we try that, you can see is the solution, because when you are deleting the faces, you're only deleting what is a whole face. But these individual points here don't make up a whole face. This part does, so that's left behind. But all the other stuff was deleted. So anyways, we should now have half of a donut. So I'm going to turn off toggle X-ray now so I can see it. And if we clicked off, you'll see that it actually just looks exactly like a donut, because again, they're sharing the exact same space. I do know it's there if I select it in the little outliner there, but it's completely invisible. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add some thickness to this icing. And this is something you should know how to do. You should know it. If you don't know it, you've not been paying attention. But if you go to your modifiers, there's a modifier, another clue. It is, of course, the solidify modifier, which adds thickness to modifier, which adds thickness to any face. So now that we've added that, you think something's broken, it's not working. It is working. It's just that by default, the solidify will add thickness inside. So if you change this offset here to be the inverted, which is 1, it will now add the thickness the other way, which is what we need. Okay. So that's great. But of course,
hang on though. I don't know why I still have like why is my wireframe on? No, I want that. Guess I just don't know why I have this whoa. Yeah, I don't know. Right.
Look very good. There's a quote which I always repeat. Imperfection is the digital perfection, because the reason this looks fake, it's just perfectly straight. There's no way to get a laser cut icing across a donut like this unless you're using 3D software. So we need to add randomness to this edge here in order for it to look realistic to our eye. So I need to go into edit mode. And when we do that, we can't see the mesh because we've got our solidifier blocking our view. So I'm going to click this disable in viewport just to hide it so that I can see it. So when I turn it back on, I know it's disabled.
Wait, what is he going to do?
So I need to go into edit mode. And when we do that, we can't see the mesh.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what I did. I did it again. I always do this and I like hit the wrong button.
Because we've got our solidifier blocking our view. So I'm going to click this disable in viewport just to hide it.
Solidify. Okay. And now he sees the mesh and I don't.
So that I can see it. So when I turn it back on, I know it's there.
Okay. What do I have to do? Nope. That was not the right answer to the question? What should I... Don't know what I should be seeing. Oh, I'm in object mode. That's wrong. There we go. Okay. And I did it again. I don't know what button I hit. I keep hitting the wrong button, and it like it's not the play
just
button.
while I'm editing it, in order to see it, I need to be able to have it turned off. So to add randomness, what I could do is I could come in here and I could select one point like this. I could hit G and I could move it down. Okay. Then I could get the point next to it and I could move this one down and then this one, and I could do this and do this, and we could put ourselves to sleep trying to make this donut look good, and it would take forever. But thankfully in 3D there are tools for everything to make your life easier. And so one such tool is at the top here, your proportional editing tool. What this does is now when I hit G, it'll move everything at once. What it will do is it will move everything with a fall off area around.
Wait,
what it will
where
do
is this
editing tool. And so one such tool is at the top here, your proportional editing tool. What this does is now when I hit G, it'll move everything at once. What it will do is it will move everything with a fall off area around it. The reason it's moving the entire mesh with it is that the fall off is so big that it's actually outside of our view at the moment. This was actually something I called out in my usability talk at the Blender conference last year. We could do better than this, but basically if you zoom way out, you will see there is a circle around it, and that's how big it is. So what we need to do is, whilst we're in this move state, is we need to reduce that, and you do that by scrolling down. Scroll down, 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 down. Oh no, that was the wrong direction. Scroll up. Sorry, scroll up, not down. And that will make...
What? Okay, so G. Yep. We would hit escape and then scroll up. Yeah. Oh, maybe I have to be, yeah, there we go. Okay. And where do I want to stop?
If you zoom way out, you will see there is a circle around it, and that's how big it is. So what we need to do is, whilst we're in this move state, is we need to reduce that, and you do that by scrolling down. Scroll down, 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 down. Oh no, that was the wrong direction. Scroll up. Sorry, scroll up, not down. And that will make it smaller. So scroll up to make it smaller.
Okay, so let's go. We want to go back to the front. We want to zoom in again. Oh, we want to undo the move. Yeah, for sure. Then we want to hit the G, escape, hit the G, scroll up. Okay, so now it's here. All right.
Scroll down to make it bigger. I just completely brain farted. If you don't have a scroll wheel, by the way, and this is another thing to call out, when you're in a move state like we are right now, you can see along the bottom of our screen, you've got a list, and that only appeared there when you're in that state. When I turn it off, all those options are gone. But whilst I'm in this state, there's a bunch of options there. And the keyboard shortcut is actually right there, page up and page down. Okay, so that is how we can increase or decrease. So again, if you don't see the circle, you just have to keep holding page down or scrolling up until it goes down to something that you can see, basically. Anyways, now that we are in that state, I'm going to hit Z, okay, to grab, So whilst I'm doing, I don't want to just like freehand do it, because if I pull it down like this, if I watch what happens, if I do it on the edge here like this, it appears as though it's pulling it straight down, right? And I do this and this.
Yeah, this is
But
the problem with my
actually, if you
extrusion,
looked at it,
bro.
these would be slightly skewed a little bit.
Yeah, bro.
Just because
Like
of
my handle.
we're working in 3D. We're looking at things from a different perspective.
Oh, man.
Sometimes
And I don't
things
know how to
appear to be
do
going
it.
down, but they're
I
actually at like a
can't.
slight angle.
I can't.
So
My brain.
it helps to when you're moving something to think of which axes it's going on. So I want it to go straight down. So G and then Z, and now I'm going to pull it down. Okay, that was a lot of work just to do this one little bit. I'm sorry. All right. Okay, so we've pulled it down. Excellent. I'll do a little bit more as well. I'll just do a little bit here. I'll do a little bit here. You can like play with the amount, the full.
All right, so let's try again. So we would grab this and say G and Z and little something something. And grab here and then G and Z and then ish, just a little ish. And maybe we'll come over here. G and then Z, and we'll be like blop, like, you know, this is the one that always that one. See, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna introduce some random noise here with these. We go the other way, maybe. Some would be above the threshold, so to speak. Oh, we're going that way. And then the other one's going that way. Get some real variation there. All right.
Like so. You know, you can play with it. All right, cool. Now if we turn on our solidify modifier, we've got the thickness back.
All right, now we turn on the solidify. Yeah, we did have the thickness back. I don't know what the hell I did. All right, I done fucked something up though, because this puppy over here is not looking right. Not looking right at all. And neither is that one. Oh, maybe that wasn't out far enough. Maybe the icing wasn't thick enough. Maybe it wasn't like covering all of it. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, it comes out. It's like not all the way through it yet. I gotta get it on there pretty thick. Oh, he has his all the way to 1, I think. Okay.
And you can see we've got some variation to the donut there. So let's continue on here. So let's pull this like so. I don't want to go too far because we're going to add some dribbles soon. Dribbles sounds gross, but you know, the little runoff.
All right, so I guess we're gonna just play with it a little bit more. Just add a little bit more to these variations. I keep using the wrong goddamn keyboard. All right, yeah, I'll do that. I'll come here. just kind of go for these little off spots that I, for some reason, trying to hit places my eye didn't gravitate towards previously. Just some of these little in-between places. Escape, whatever that was. Oh, I didn't lock it. Oh, okay, grab, lock. There we go. I don't know why. I guess this is not. Oh, I guess when you start moving it, you start deforming it, and when you start deforming it, you're changing all the relationships. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not super interested in this. I'd like to get inside here. You know what I mean? Kind of pay a little bit of attention to some of these inside bits. I don't know. For some reason, that doesn't feel like a good idea. But I don't know. Wouldn't there be some variation on the inside of the donut? Just saying. All right. Let's see what that looks like with our. You know, if it's my first donut, I mean, damn.
Droplets. That's going to go down the donut. Like so. Okay, that is pretty good. Now you can see it's like partly like intersecting it. And that's obviously because we've got proportional editing, so it's actually kind of moving some of these ones that are up top and pulling it down as well. It's fine with the solidify modifier, but we're actually going to end up fixing it when we do the dribble anyway, because I'm going to introduce another modifier that's going to fix this. But anyways, let's do this. Let's do the dribble part. So I'm going to look for an area. Yeah, like let's go. Yeah, and here where this bit's like running down. And I'm going to. I want to make this like a dribble that goes down the donut here. And currently I can't really continue to pull this. Like I could like get like a sharp point like that, but that does not look very good, right? We need more geometry essentially. So you might remember the hotkey. If we want to extrude something, it is E. But I can't just extrude one point like that, okay? Because there's no face there. There's nothing that's actually going to be rendered if I just pull one point down. So I need to select 2 points, okay? So 2 points like this. If I hit E and then Z and then pull down and then release, and then if I bring back my solidify modifier, you can see we've got more geometry. Doesn't look very good though. So let's add.
All right, let's do this. So we want to hide our thickness. We want to select 2 of these, then grab, then Z, then no. E, then nope. All right, hang on.
And then release. Hit E and then Z and then pull down. Okay, so 2 points like this. If I hit E and then Z and then pull down.
All right, I'm not in the right selection mode or something. I need to be in, I don't know. Let's just do 1 point and then control the other point. And then E and then Z. There we go. All right, there's our first dribble.
And then release. And then if I bring back my solidify modifier, you can see we've got more geometry. Doesn't look very good though. So let's add in another modifier, the same one that we used on the mug as well. It's the subdivision surface modifier. As I say, use all these subdivisions.
All right, where do we add that?
The same one that we used on the mug as well.
Oh, okay. Add modifier, generate subdivision surface modifier. Yep.
Well, it's the subdivision surface modifier. As I say, use these all the time. Use it for most objects, probably have a subdivision modifier because it's so useful. But one of the things it's good for is it, like, besides adding detail, it like smooths things out for us. So that little hard little block that we had there has now turned into a smoothed droplet looking shape, which is exactly what we want. But look, dun, 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 it has separated from the donut. Now, in previous tutorials, I actually did like a thing that showed you how to like use this, but make it like snap onto the donut, and it got all complicated. Everyone screwed up their mesh at this point. You can do this by hand as well. You can like come in here and like try to pull this in piece by piece, but it's actually not necessary.
I like it hanging.
There is a modifier that will just do it for you. So if you go to your add modifier stack and then go to deform, and then you're looking for the one called shrink wrap.
All right, add modifier deform, and you're looking for the one called shrink wrap.
And by the way, again, if you can't find it, just go up to here, type in shrink wrap, and you'll also find it there. So shrink wrap, what this is going to do is going to shrink it onto a mesh, but you have to define the mesh first in order to see it, because if you don't, it just has no effect. Absolutely, that's what the red is showing you. It's not doing anything. So your target, yeah, you can actually like select it from the drop down, or what most people do, you click the little eyedropper and then you select the object. Bam. All right, now it's working, and now we've got some serious Z fighting, where the faces are overlapping, and this is horrible. You never want this. All right, fighting.
But wait.
Bam. Or what
Wait,
most people
his
do,
snap
you click the
here?
little eyedropper and then you select the object. Bam. All right, now it's working, and now we've got some serious Z object.
Wait, why didn't?
Bam. All right, now it's working. The little target. Yeah, you can actually like select it from the drop down, or what most people do.
Oh, I see.
You click the little eyedropper.
I think he had. Hang on a sec. Let's see. Actually, I guess I gotta see what it looks like when
And
it
then you
comes
select
back.
the object. Bam. All right, now it's working.
All right. I guess I could clear out this donut selection thing, and let's go back from here.
Don't, it just has no effect. Absolutely, that's what the red is showing you. It's not doing anything. So your target, yeah, you can actually like select it from the drop down, or what most people do, you click the little eyedropper and then you select.
All right, so I think he's got this like whole thing. Yeah, he's not even in edit mode. He's in object mode. There we go. Okay. And then there. Okay.
The object. Bam. All right, now it's working, and now we've got some serious Z fighting, where the faces are overlapping, and this is horrible. You never want this. All right, so you remember when I was talking about the modifier, that it works top to bottom. So essentially what we've done is we've gone add thickness, then add detail, and then shrink wrap all of that thickness onto the donut itself. So what we need to do is change the order of this,
Oh, it's a signal
and not
chain.
go halfway, because that also won't do anything. We need to go all the way to the top so that the shrink wrap is happening first. So it's snapping it onto the mesh, then
Yeah, and this is also exactly how it works in a digital audio workstation, right? Where if you put a bunch of effects on a track, they process it in order, and so you have to think strategically about your signal flow so that your effects get applied in the right order. So that type of thing becomes familiar, thinking about your chain of processing.
it's adding the solidify modifier. Then underneath that, it's adding the subsurf modifier. And we can actually increase this, make it a level 2 for the viewport. And you can see it just adds a little bit extra detail there, okay? And you can...
All right, so what did we do? Okay, now we're going 3-2, I guess. Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
go even higher, of course, but, you know, you will get eventually it'll just get so slow for your computer and there's not really going to be any point, but you can just go to level 2 for now. Okay, so to quickly show you as well what the shrink wrap is actually doing, because it's not that clear. But yeah, this is where that little piece is overhanging, and then it's essentially looking for the nearest point to find this mesh underneath it, and then it is just snapping it to that point. So it's pretty good. Like I can drag this like pretty far down, like, but there is an extent so I'm just doing another extrusion on this point. So as I pull it down, you can see it kind of loses it. There's a point where it just won't find the mesh anymore. So there's a point like at which you should start to pull things into the mesh. It's not magic. It's not going to just magically find it. So if I just pull it all the way out, there's no way it's going to be able to find it. So there is a limit, but you can see it does make our job a lot easier because I can pull it down and I can start to make some big dribbles along my mesh here, and I don't have to really worry that much about the placement because it's just going to automatically snap itself to the donut. I just have to make sure that the dribbles are straight. And if you look at reference, which you should be doing, I'll put some reference on the link below on my website, so you can have a look and just kind of go through it. But yeah, usually when like droplets form, they kind of like the gravity kind of like builds at a point and it kind of like gets sucked from the top, and so you end up with like this thin bit in the middle and then this like globule, which is a crazy word, at the bottom there. But essentially it just means the piece at the bottom, I'm just going to make a little bit thicker than the pieces above.
Why am I not?
Okay, so that's
I'm in
one,
object
but
mode.
we should do more.
Okay, so let's go into edit mode. Then let's get rid of these things. Then we can select a couple of points and extrude and go straight down. Do another one straight down. All right, now let's look at these for a second. Oh yeah, it's doing the droplet thing. Okay, let's do this one. Yeah, okay, I'm with it. A little runny droplet. That's cool. I'm sure we could probably maybe grab this edge here. I probably shouldn't be getting too fancy over here, but yeah, showing I can move stuff around. All right.
More. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to add more, and just repeat the same thing. Just do an extrusion on these little points there and just kind of drag it down. So let's do that. Because yeah, I remember the first donut that I ever made. Oh, way back in the day, making the first donut. And I really I did one little dribble going down it, and then I always wanted to frame the camera so that it was looking at that, because that was the most interesting part of the donut. And then I learned just exaggerate, just add little dribbles everywhere.
Right. What am I doing
big
wrong?
Part of being an artist is you look at reality and then you find the bits that are actually pleasing and then you exaggerate it. And that's what I'm doing. So, donuts typically don't have
you don't
this many
really
dribbles,
have
but
to
it's very pleasing. It just makes it look very like gooey and like there's so much icing. And you can see, by the way,
Lock
I'm
it in.
doing the same shape also everywhere. So this is like a half one, right? And I'm kind of looking for like where I can add some different shapes. Why is that? There's a gap there. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh no.
Maybe we can do like a wide
I
one.
was recording
grab
for this tutorial, and I recorded something and then I like reverted it.
Grab a
But I've now
few
got a
of
giant
them.
face here where there should be not a giant face there. So what do?
Wait, what am I
You've
doing?
accidentally
Whoa.
got this thing. There is, and this is, you obviously don't have to do this because this is not your problem. But I'm just going to use the knife tool, which is a way to do an incision on a mesh and just add more geometry like freehand. So I've just fixed that little problem that I had there, but you hopefully should not have that problem.
What is going
I'm
on?
gonna just
Oh,
pull
we're
this
not
down.
on
I'm going to
icing
turn on
anymore.
proportional editing,
Okay.
and I'm going to add a little bit that's going down.
And then
Let's select these two.
we need
Turn on
to go
proportional.
on the
Let's add another little bit that's going right
edit
here.
mode.
Add a little bit of variance, and let's add.
Okay, let me pause him for a second so I can think. That's what I was thinking about as I was trying to say. Let's just see if it works right now. No, let's put you back in the middle. Okay. All right, so let's just say we grabbed, we need to be on vertices. Yeah, there we go. So like grab this one, and then this one, and then extrude. It should be like a fat one, right? Let's see what the fat one looks. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And look at that. Now we have a little thin one, a little thick one. You know we like some thickness around here. All right. And we'll go in. Maybe we'll do another one. I almost want to make them go inverted, right? Off to the side a little bit. So yeah, just have some variation. Like somebody poured it, you know, and it wasn't so perfect of a pour.
Let's add another big one right here. Pull this one down. But this is the fun part, you know? I mean, aside from the finicky, like, going, like, sideways, looking at where it appears, and then straightening it, but you get to kind of, like, shape things and just, like...
Nah, we were just like,
with your eye,
let it ride.
Just play with it. It's actually one of the cool things of 3D. It's also why a lot of people get into 3D, is they want to do art, but whenever they pick up a pencil, they just can't get the lines where they want it. And the great thing about 3D is that you've got points and you can move those points after the fact. You're not drawing freehand. So there's no case where you like screw up a line and you have to like rub it out and try again. Like you just grab a point and just kind of like
that's the thing with the
like
handle
right
is like we
So
can
that's
we
one
can
of
go
the,
back and
one of
put
the
some work on
joys
it if we
of
really
3D.
wanted to.
I'm just doing
by just
filler talk,
manipulating
if you
the
can't tell.
points.
Just grab a few pieces, move them all down together. Why not? There we go. That's kind of interesting. I might just take this one at the bottom there off, and I'll just maybe pull these out, just so we've got more variance that goes all the way around it. But play with it as much as you want. You can pause this and, play with it. But I'm just trying to make it look generally appealing. Now, one way to improve this, you'll notice that the icing is separating from it, right? It's going up right there. And again, that's because of how subsurf modifiers work. There's a point here and there's a point here. So it has to make this really rounded shape. But real liquid, when it is in this state, when it's clinging to an object, this part here, as it hits it, that part will be like solid, right? And then the rest of it, like this part is round, but then this part is like hugging the actual surface. So thankfully, we can do that. There is a setting in the solidifier setting options, which I might have to move. There we go, so we can see it. Underneath edge data, there is an option here for a crease. Okay, so what a crease is doing, we didn't really talk about it with the mug, but it's essentially on an edge, it's creasing it and saying like, instead of like doing that huge rounded thing, just kind of tighten it on that edge. Very similar to adding the geometry like what we did on the mug, but this is a way to do it without adding extra geometry. It does kind of add a little bit of stretching, but it's not really that noticeable on something like this. But that is very, very nice.
It is
Very
a nice
solid.
touch.
It's hugging it, and it looks very pleasing. Excellent. Now we could as well. I didn't actually do this for my final one because I forgot. But I realized after, I was like, oh yeah, I guess like the part that's on the inside of the donut. Yeah, I forgot to do that. But yeah, you can also like do the exact same thing, just playing with it. If you find like it's kind of hard to like look at it inside the donut, if you just select the middle row. So if you just hold down Alt and then select on that middle row, you can use the same focus button, so numpad period or tilde and then view, and then that will just lock it on to those selected vertices.
Wait, hang on a second. Hang on.
Select.
Whoa.
Very nice. Very solid. It's hugging it, and it looks very pleasing. Excellent. Now we could as well. I didn't actually do this for my final one because I forgot.
Yeah, we were thinking ahead, gang. I told you we was thinking about that inside.
But I realized after, I was like, oh yeah, I guess like the part that's on the inside of the donut. Yeah, I forgot to do that. But yeah, you can also like do the exact same thing, just playing with it. If you find like it's kind of hard to like look at it inside the donut, if you just select the middle row. So if you just hold down Alt and then select on that middle row, you.
Wait, hang on a second. All right, let's turn all this off. And try to get in there somehow. And then say Alt and select on that middle row. Okay, then what?
You can use the same focus button, so numpad period or tilde and then view, and then that will just lock it on to those selected vertices. Tilde and then view. You can use the same, will just lock it on to those.
Tilde and then view, selected 3, maybe? Yeah. She make the people say yeah. All right. Cool. So now we could add some variations in here. Might as well do it if we're gonna be all up in here. Let's hit it with the extrude down. Is it doing the same weirdness? Oh, I don't have the modifiers on. Grab Z. Oops. Whoop, 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 whoop. We don't want to do that. All right, we want to grab there. Oh, it's weird. It doesn't do the same. It doesn't like do the same thing. All right. Let's see how it does it.
Selected vertices. So that focus key that I mentioned, it works on in edit mode as well, which is good. So yeah, I could just pull these down like this and just, the camera's not really going to notice it. You just want to make sure that it's, not perfectly straight like mine was in the final render. It doesn't really, like, who's going to notice, who's going to tell, really? Annoying people are going to point it out. The inside part's too straight. All right. So that's pretty good.
What does this look like?
Something I might do, because I noticed, like, looking from the top, because this is where the camera's going to be. Like, we're not really able to see much donut. Like, the icing is a little bit
works,
too far
though.
down. So I'm just going to grab some of these points here using proportional editing. I'm just going to pull them up to just expose a little bit more of the underlying donut.
You know what I would want to do in a future donut, y'all? Maybe in version 2. When I get a little bit more blender skill, I love my yeast donuts, and I love the fact that in a good yeast donut, there's kind of those rings, because of the way it's baked, and then, no, I think it's like, they're fried essentially, right? But typically they're like fried on one side and then the other. And so they're kind of brown, and then there's like that light colored kind of ring around us. Y'all know what I'm talking about. How, like, you can see the difference, like from how they cooked it, and then it has like that kind of shading through the middle of it. Like, it'd be cool to model that, because I think of that when I think of like the perfect yeast donut. I think of seeing that little those bands of color.
Which is definitely going to make the donut look a little bit more handmade, you know, because like obviously probably a professional donut from Krispy Kreme or something doesn't have this much variance in it, but it's okay. It does kind of help it give it a realistic kind.
All right, so I want to maybe just go in here. I'll do a couple more. I kind of like those. I keep hitting the wrong damn keyboard. And then maybe another version. You don't need much going on there to make it look a lot better. Yeah, it just makes it look kind of random. Like, oh, there's some life to that. All right, and then maybe we want our thickness all the way out. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the way to make the thickness actually thicker is like that. Yeah, okay. We went 0.01. Yeah, I'm feeling that.
Kind of look. Now, there's one thing that would really improve the look of this icing, and that is thickness variation. Because if you go around it, you'll see that the exact, the distance from here to here is the exact same thing as like, what it would be over here to here. And that's just not the case. We've got like icing that is dribbling down. These little droplets are kind of like breaking away. And what happens when those droplets break and then they kind of stop? They build up, right? So we should actually see these kind of like swell a little bit. They should be a little bit rounder at the heads of each of these points. Also along the edges here. Every little edge here should be a little bit more inflated than the rest of it. And although that sounds like nothing, when you do it, when you actually add this little detail, it really does improve the realism. So we can't do that because all we've got is these little points here, okay? So just like what we did with the mug, there comes a time where you need to break the non-destructive workflow and apply your modifiers. So this shrink wrap here, by the way, when you apply something, you have to apply it in like top to bottom. So even really...
All right, we definitely want to save. Let's save as... we would call this... I don't know. Deets 1. Well, that looks too much like delete to me. Details. Yeah, save as. Increment it. All right.
Although we only want to apply the solidify. That's the main one we want to do. We have to first of all apply the shrink wrap because that's the one that is first, and that's the one. Like if we applied this one first, we would lose the shrink wrap would have to go after, and it would just it would screw it up. So we have to apply the shrink wrap first. So go here and click apply. Okay. Now in edit mode, you can see we've still got those single points, but they're now snapped to the mesh. All right. But it means we no longer have that automatic snapping. So if I was to pull these out, you can see they're now separated from the mesh. So just keep that in mind. We still can't edit the mesh there because we haven't applied the solidify. So I'm going to apply the solidify now. And now we've got these points here. Okay. So now if I wanted to, with just these points, I could pull some of these points out, turning off proportional editing, and I could just pull them out a little bit. And that's better, but we don't have enough detail here. We need more geometry to play with in order to add this extra detail. So we need to apply our subsurf modifier. So I'm going to, on here, I'm going to hit apply. And actually there's a hotkey if you don't want to have to go to the drop down each time. Control A will apply the selected modifier. And now in edit mode, look at this. Now we've got all this extra geometry to play with. So now if I wanted to, I could turn on proportional editing. I could select one point. I could try and get a kind of a shape like this. That would be probably the best way to do it if I was restricted to edit mode. And that'll get me some of the way there. I could, pull individual points out. I could try and do that. But you can see it's very finicky. And it's not the tool to use. because, like I said, there are tools for everything in 3D to try to help you to do things better. So go to the top of your screen. We're currently in layout. That's all we've done so far. We're going to swap to sculpting. All right. Now, when you swap to a new one of these views here,
Whoa.
it'll it's assuming the default view of Blender, which is like when everything was like 10 meters long or whatever. So our donut is tiny. So we have to focus on the selected object. So I'm just going to hit numpad period. That hasn't worked. Okay, don't worry about that. All right. So instead of in sculpt mode, change to object mode. Then hit numpad period or view selected. And then now jump back to sculpt mode. And now we're back to it. For some reason, I thought focus worked in sculpt mode. Yeah. All right. Sometimes you just teach something and then you go, oh, that never worked. What was I talking about? Anyway. Okay. In sculpt mode now, and make sure you're looking at the correct one. Okay. Not the donut, but the icing itself. If I was to now draw over this, you can see we're drawing into the mesh of the icing. Isn't that cool? All right. So what I want to do is I want to change my brush, and I want to find the one brush which is really going to help us here. And it is this one, the inflate deflate brush. Now your brush size here can be controlled by the size at the top, or there is a hotkey, F. And when you hit F, you just choose with your mouse like how big the size needs to be. Okay, so I can pull out. And then now if I just draw over that little globule there, the end piece, it just adds a little bit of inflation. And I'm just pulling it around just slightly. I don't want to go too far, but just adding these little inflated points will really help this to look realistic. The other thing is you can actually shape some of the mesh as well. So there's another brush.
Wait, what am I doing? Because my brush ain't brushing. Okay, hang on. Here we go. All right, I kind of think that's probably a bit much. Yeah, we're getting some thickness. Okay.
That I use all the time.
Let me see.
The other inflated points will really help this to look realistic.
All right, he kind of has a more reasonable size going there. It looks like. Yeah, okay. Good. Yeah. That's cool.
The other thing is you can actually shape some of the mesh as well. So there's another brush that I use all the time, which is the grab brush. You just essentially just...
Wait, where's he getting all these? Woo, there's so many brushes, y'all. Where's the grab brush? My brother in Christ, there's so much going on. Grab.
Pull mesh like that. So that's another easy way to just kind of...
Oh, yeah. Ooh. 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 And yeah, you just start getting all the imperfections going. You can get a little wonky with it. But that's kind of the point, I guess, is a little bit of wonkiness, not too much. All right, and then you could go back to the inflate and want to thin it out a little bit in some places. Pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, pulling it. like a big glop. Gloop, glop, gloop. Very interesting. All right.
Kind of move pieces around like so. You can just shape things like this, add a little bit of extra detail if you want. Yep. And all is well. So you can see I'm doing a little bit on the edge here again because all the edges there should have a little bit of buildup of the fluid, because that's where gravity kind of makes it stall and like stop, because it just kind of like runs out of like the tension will be more than the gravity that's pulling it down. You get the idea. Anyways, play with that as much as you like. But of course, we have some homework to finish off this video. So what I want you to make is this hidden object, which is a plate for your donut. So have a look at the shape here that I've got and have a think about how you would go about creating this and try to do it yourself. Just give it a stab. Even if you don't feel confident, you don't feel like you could achieve it, just give it a go. There's a hint. We've got some modifiers on the right here, and I will also show you what the wireframe looks like, because that will probably help some people out as well. Okay, so that's a pretty big hint.
All right, so yeah, and I might just do another tutorial. I might just pull up how to make a plate real fast. But yeah, I wanted to get an hour and a half in, and we're an hour and a half in, so I think that's a good place to stop for the night, because I do need to get some sleep. So I've saved that, and I'm really, really bad at trying to take a picture of the timestamp of the video. Let's see. Gotta like have it ready to go here. Move it. I think I got it. Oh, got it on the first try. All right. All right, gang. Thanks so much for tuning in. I should be back tomorrow. I'm gonna work on this for at least like a good portion of the afternoon, and then I think I might be chilling with Patty or something, and then yeah, well, I got a bunch of stuff I'm still trying to do to work on these studio upgrades. All right, why the donuts? It's because it's pretty much like, I think like the most well-known kind of beginner Blender tutorial, so I think it becomes it's kind of like a rite of passage tutorial, and it's just it's an extra credit assignment for my students. It's one of the multimedia projects. They have to do a bunch of multimedia projects. They have to like do they have to like edit together like a fake podcast from editing together different like interview clips, and then they have to do a multi-track music recording. The next one is they have to do like a cooking show, like a recipe video or something like that. And then their final project is a multimedia masterpiece. Like they have to make a video that includes a multi-track recording and effects and titles, and basically puts together all the skills that they've learned throughout the semester, and it has to be related to the social determinants of health, which is the subject of the class. And so I wanted them to do a 3D model because that's a really awesome multimedia skill to have, especially for science, because that's one of the things. It's like when you want to communicate about science, you have to make all these different types of multimedia. You don't necessarily often have to do 3D modeling, but it can certainly help, like for papers or making models of apparatuses or different things that you use in the lab, or protein folding structures, which are 3-dimensional, lots of, and so you just want them to be not intimidated by the tools that we use for all this multimedia creation. But it's 4 hours worth of tutorials. This guy makes a playlist every year or every time there's a new Blender update. So I didn't want to make it a requirement just because it's a lot of time. So I made it like a huge extra credit. Like you can get 10 extra credit points for your grade if you do it, and then they have the entire semester to do it, and then we're just gonna have a big donut party at the end of the semester, and if they've made a donut, they can show it off, and we'll have some donuts and have some fun. But yeah, that's why. All right, appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming through. Love you guys. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I work on this, and yeah, we'll keep at it this weekend. All right, we'll see you next time. Said I'm gone.